Right now, this is what the market shows you, and that does not look good. If this is what SEC intend to do and what they are doing or executing right now, yeah, we are going to see some corrective actions in the market. We are observing a lot of coins are slowly going down, and yet, now understand that this news is out and it's actually recent, right? Just been a couple of hours, and as of now we are still observing that the Binance USD is still holding. So I'm like, okay, BUSD is still holding, it's not actually dropping, so they do have their reserves, or at least it looks positive for the time being. Now, one of the reason for concern here is XRP is slowly trying to break through this level of support, and if it actually does that, now if you take a step back, this is a possible pattern which we have to consider. Now, maybe this just has only 5% probability, but imagine that news narrative is going to come in and this goes down, break this level. That is going to be bad. But as of now, it doesn't look like that. Yeah, agreed, when you actually move on to a longer time horizon, looking at the macro pattern, it does suggest like, okay, that may not be the actual incident. Now, if that happens and the price actually drops to this level, say 0.21, we are still inside this pattern, but that's going to completely impact the market. As I was actually making this video, it was like 0.379 and right now it's 0.375. So we are right now watching the market is slowing down. On a macro, you do have the RSI showing you the downside. We do have a little bit more room to the downside. On the daily, it suggests like, we are at the support, we are consolidating there. Now, one of the main issue in the market right now is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is about to drop hard, reach the 20,000, 20,500 mark, that is going to be a little bit painful, because right now not everyone accounts for this, and you are watching the short-term charts breaking to the downside. What exactly is going to follow up? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% in the world. Now, right now, we are still close to $1.1 trillion. We have not moved much. We are still there, we are getting focused. Now, there are some assets which actually suggest like, okay, there is a possibility I'm inside this pattern, the macro is like this, I may break to the upside, the indicators are like this. So, yes, we do see different assets inside the market doing wonders. Even earlier today morning, we actually closed a position in 50% profit, right? One of the key area to understand in this market is, yeah, we love XRP. We are looking at the macro. We are zooming in. We understand that this is going to be a great asset, because the way the macro is evolving, it kind of gives us the narrative of how things are going to change, right? One of the biggest thing is that, yeah, on the other end, you see people actually putting big numbers to it. Some even, $100,000, some going up to $1 million. And most recently, I think something below $5,000. Great. But the real question should be asked by the XRP community, like, okay, what are we looking at? I saw another idea where it's about the payment market, and it kind of comes in close to $589. And I'm like, okay, what's the actual focus there? And it seems to be the narrative of Nostro Vostro accounts, the total $32 trillion coming onto the XRP ledger being used for cross-border payments. And that pushes the narrative to 589. Now I'm like, okay, we are in the market where we have a lot of market participants. We do understand that. So I don't actually think XRP ledger is going to take the entire market as a whole, and that may not be the actual value which we actually get. For sure, we may actually get 10, 20, 30% of the market share. But what we have to understand right now when people throw these kind of valuations is that you need to understand Ripple, the company on stage, has clarified that they are now focusing on what? smaller central banks who have higher friction for cross-border payment. Now, that's what they do as a company. They provide softwares. Ripple is a software company providing the messaging and settlement platform or the infrastructure to move money like information. Basically, it's a two-way chatty protocol, as Brad puts it. Great. So they are not literally focusing on all these big central banks right now. They are literally focusing on the smaller ones. That does not mean it's really small. In terms of value, it's going to be huge. Fine, but do you really think they are going to actually buy the entire 55 billion in the XRP, the buyback? I really don't think so. Now, there are positive segments coming out in the market, understanding how this evolved. Now, there's a long document. We are not actually going to run through the entire thing here. But when we go through different parts of this, we actually get to see like, okay, there are things evolving, right? And we really don't want to miss all of them. One of which is like, the cross-border payments and the design for the platforms, the infrastructure to be used, and what they are really looking at. Now, they here talk about like two approach, in which one is a greenfield approach, which actually involves a new, potentially global infrastructure for cross-border payments. Now, that can be useful, but what's on the other side is that the first part, the growth approach, that means, the existing members have a lot of room to play around. Now, we know that things are not in favor for them. As we read through all these documents, we do get a complete understanding that, even the supranational organizations does not like what's happening in the cross-border payments. So the current state of the cross-border payments is not that great, and they are all trying to build on a new ecosystem, which can actually give more efficiency in terms of the cost, speed, and the error rates. Because Swift right now, as a messaging platform, has a higher error rate, maybe 6%, which is really high if you consider that. Now, when you're looking for this, you do understand like right now you have different ideas in the market, considering how you execute payments, cross-border payment. Now, you can't actually completely take the entire value for that and drop it here. But one thing is for sure, you are literally going to see interlinking of payments 100%. It can be interledger protocol, it can be something else, who knows. But there is still a probability that a part of that pie is going to come on to XRP ledger. Agreed, but this is a transaction-based infrastructure, which actually means literally you are going to see the transactions happening inside that ledger like this. Fine. How many of them are going to hold the entire units of XRP which they need to pay as fee? One is holding that for fee. Two is holding that as an asset. So we don't know what they can actually do. But what a lot of people who give you this idea don't understand is that they literally cannot hold XRP as an asset, as a crypto asset, which is one of their biggest assets. That is not possible. With the banking infrastructure, if you go through their books, if you go through what they are doing and all, and what the rules and regulations they abide by, it's actually clear that they can't do that. What they look forward to is total assets, the fixed income assets, the equities, and then there is a small part which actually covers the alternative sides. Now, when we look at the CFA readings, where the portfolio managers internationally look through this, they give you an idea of 15% of alternative asset, which actually include gold, real estate, and all. So I really don't think, unless the entire gold, the entire real estate, and every asset is on the XRP ledger, which I don't think is going to be the real scenario. It can touch XRP ledger at some point, but I really don't think everything is actually going to be on the XRP ledger. So in that case, you're looking for like 2% of the bank allocating for crypto, maybe 3%. And now we are going to argue the 90% of that 3% is going to come to XRP, which does not make sense, because right now the market is giving more clarity for Bitcoin and Ether. So most likely that's going to be a major part of that. Now, coming back onto the price action, which is really interesting right now, because we are literally watching the market getting hit, and that's not a huge thing to watch in terms of the positivity. But we do understand, like, there are narratives which we really have to understand. On the other side of this, UK, Singapore, India, China, EU, all of them are trying to build something for this new infrastructure. But the world is not complete yet, right? We are actually getting this narrative from one side, we are actually getting this narrative from the other side, and right now we have a UFO war, right? So we are getting news from different areas like UK, Canada, China, showing they are getting UFOs, unidentified flying object. Is this aliens? Who knows? No one actually know about that, but they are shooting it down. At least that's what they see. So we have different narratives in the market right now at a time when SEC is like, okay, let's go jogging and throw some papers here and there. Literally, that's happening. They really don't know what that company is doing. They really don't know what other countries are doing with this. They really don't know what the technology is about. Or at least they act like it. So now when we are coming back onto the technicals, this is really, really interesting. Why? Because on the one side, you see Bitcoin about to drop. And if it drops, the market as a whole will slow down. So we actually go to see like what the Bitcoin dominance shows us. So that means the Bitcoin dominance on a short-term horizon should actually get more upside, right? So right now we are watching that Bitcoin dominance is slowly trying to break back to the upside. If you look at this range has been a support, then a resistance. So right now it is acting as a resistance which we broke now. Look at the RSI. It is showing you that we are breaking through and the dominance can actually increase. So what's the next level which we should be eyeing at? If we can run higher to this level, when Bitcoin is not moving and Bitcoin dominance is increasing, that means altcoins bleed. That does mean altcoins are going to bleed. Majority of them. But we'll still see some or very few among those hold against the market or at least bounce higher. We are literally observing some of these coins doing that right now. Say, you are looking at a lot of these assets which are holding against the market, because on the other side of this is what we are observing. Negative numbers and big negative numbers. It's not just small numbers. And right now in the market, when you have this fear being pushed into the market, thinking, okay, that's a big stable coin, right? If you say like, okay, right now, Binance is actually one of the biggest and Paxos is actually one of the standard out there. And if they are getting hammered and this 5 billion is going out, imagine what will happen to the crypto market. This is the 24-hour volume shown there. Remember, the volume for XRP is 500 million and this stablecoin goes through 5 billion. 10 times the value of XRP right now. So you and me who are in the market right now should be aware that there is a possible negative side of this. Yes, everyone will throw a big number at you, 100%. But we also have to think like, okay, what's the possibility? Maybe $10, maybe $12, whatever the speculation is. But we cannot actually neglect this negative side of it. Once you are aware of what the scenario is, now you are literally looking for your supports to understand what the price action is showing you. If the market is actually breaking lower, now we know what to look for. Basically, this is going to be your support range where you keep your eyes focused on. And if that support is being taken, then literally this range is actually over. Now you are looking for something lower, which here would be most likely 0.34. That is a major support. Now, why is that? That's a macro level trend line. And when you zoom in, this is that trend line. That's why I was highlighting if we break this to the downside, that may not be favorable for us for sure. But if we are able to bounce from this level and break through this, now that is a positive scenario, my friends, because by that time, you're going to see some momentum coming back into the market. And we have literally seen, like yesterday, we had the call, we went in, we doubled down on asset lit. And what happened afterwards was actually really good. The market actually showed a long wick to the downside, but afterwards, it just popped. And if you're in the market looking at those, it kind of feels like this. One is H bar and then lit entry, which actually went like 81% to the upside. So this was our call suggesting like, okay, we are actually doubling down, and we actually did, then it actually popped. So you actually get the idea of what the thought process was. This was like 3 days earlier, and this was at the level. Now imagine the price actually went even above our target. Agreed, but that's a positive thing. You're looking for 1.4 and it actually goes to 1.5. That's still fine. You got the room to take profit. So once you actually get the right information on the right asset like this, I believe that's actually helpful for all of us. So this was H bar, right? We had the call earlier this month, and right now we went through this topic, right? We hit those levels. So if you are in the market, this is literally what's happening. You can literally close profits almost every week consistently, maybe 3-4 times a week, maybe a couple of times a week. Now if you're a high frequency trader, you're looking for like daily entry and exits, but most of us are busy with the daily life, and at least couple of exits a week would be better. 50 to 100%, that sounds really good. And if you're looking for that kind of things, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, with that being said, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have another 3 to 5 minutes more, please do visit this channel of mine and watch this video and inform me how you feel after watching that. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.